Hello all, welcome back. It is week 9, it is Sunday the 10th of March, and I'm going to give you updates about my past week and what's been going on here on the African Mercy. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about the arrivals this weekend. The ship is gearing up for the OBGYN surgeries. So we have a lot of OBGYN surgeons coming in and more nurses to help with that and anesthesiologists. So most of the arrivals this week are centered around that. The surgeries on the ship work in segments, so they do segments of cleft lip and cleft palates, then they move on to the women's surgeries, and then they'll do the legs. So they have different segments during the field service of surgeries. So we are moving out of eye and into OBGYN, which is super exciting, and I want to have some stories for you next week about that, hopefully. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my weekend, and then I'll get into NOMAs a little later on in the video. So this week is my last week as the head hostess because I was filling a gap. We had about a four-week gap where one of the previous head hostess left, and then this weekend the new head hostess is coming. So I'm finishing up my time as the head hostess, which has been amazing and such a great experience, but a lot at the same time. So I'm excited to go ahead and be stepping down back to a normal hostess to finish out my time here on the African Mercy. This weekend was my first weekend off in a while because hostesses work on the weekends a lot. And yesterday I was able to go camping on one of the islands nearby. So when you're on the African Mercy, you can see islands from us. There's 3 islands. I went to the first island. It's about a 25-30 minute ferry ride from here. And the island's name was Casa, and they have nice beaches, and they have hotels there and restaurants, and there's a place to go camping on the beach. So me and some of my friends went camping, and it was beautiful and amazing, and the sand here is so beautiful. It is 3 different colors that I could see. It's a pinkish, and then a white, and then black. So it's all mixed in, and it's very beautiful. I have some pictures that I will post at the end of my time here. But it's so beautiful. And it just is a testament to God because He's just so creative, and it blows my mind. I think I've seen something that's totally beautiful, and then I see something else and it's even more beautiful. And then I'm going to tell you about NOMAs. So on Wednesdays, every week they have a medical person that gives speeches, and it's open to the whole crew. So every Wednesday night, you can go and listen to surgeons talk about what they've done and how they do the surgeries. And a few weeks ago, it was cleft palates and cleft lips, and so they will explain to you what it is, how it's caused, how to fix it, and how often we find it in the U.S. and why it's so common here, and things that could help and fix things. So I'm going to be talking about NOMAs. And all this was from Dr. Gary Parker's medical in-service speech on Wednesday. A NOMA is it's an infection of the bacteria that is in your nose and mouth. So essentially it's caused by, sorry, I'm going to check my notes so I don't mess up. It's caused by, my goodness, I cannot find it with me. It's caused by malnutrition, lack of the most normal antibiotics, and lack of wound care. Here it causes an 80 to 90% death rate, so almost always people die Malnutrition, poor hygiene, and unsafe drinking water are the three main causes that we can put our finger on. Back in 1993, when the Anastasis was here in Guinea, there was 80 to 60 cases. And then when we came back this year in 2018-19, we only had 10 cases of Noma, which is awesome because hopefully we're teaching people how to take better care of themselves, and hopefully giving them resources that they can use so that they are not having to deal with all of these diseases and sicknesses. The way Noma happens is you can get a very small cut or something that weakens or cold or something like that, and it'll weaken your immune system. And then the combination of the weakened immune system with the malnutrition, no clean drinking water, and poor hygiene will cause, so you have the weakened immune system, then all that mixed together causes the Noma to start growing in the nose and the mouth. And so patients that Mercy Ships gets with Nomas, essentially it's a flesh-eating bacteria, so it eats away their flesh around the nose and the mouth, and it can be very minor and it can be very major. So sometimes people just lose like the top of their lip right here, or sometimes it goes all the way and exposes their the inside of their mouth, and this bacteria actually will eat through the bone. So it's super detrimental, and people can lose their nose from it. It's a horrible thing, and it has 4 stages. The first one is acute Noma, which means the gum lines are like swollen and red, and it usually starts in the mouth. And then after that it goes to gangrenous, which means the skin is open and you see all of the bone. So basically it begins eating away the flesh wherever it's going to either go up or to the sides. It usually takes the upper lip and goes onto the nose or the sides. Then the next stage is scarring. It creates a very shiny scar. It will stop on its own, and it does in most cases, but it makes very shiny, like puffy scars, but as the person ages, the scars contract, so you're losing skin. So if you lost the top of your lip and then the skin contracts, so then it would stay up higher. Noma is a really, really hard thing to see in someone because it's your face, and a lot of the patient stories about them are super touching, and I want to try to find one and share it on Facebook so that you can read it. But it's just it's crazy, and it seeing it can change your life. It's really hard to see, and I can't imagine going through it at all. I don't know. It's I don't even have words for it. So good news is that we rebuild faces here at Mercy Ships, and Dr. Gary Parker in particular is a plastic surgeon, and he's been rebuilding faces for over 30 years here with Mercy Ships. It can take 6 to 12 months after the face is rebuilt for all the damages to the healing and swelling to go down so that they can be released. One of the biggest things that Dr. Gary Parker was saying is that we can do together what we could never do by ourselves. And when he said that, he was talking about these people who have gone through Noma and they are missing noses or entire parts of their cheek, and they are not considered parts of the human race by their own people. When they come to Mercy Ships, we are loving them, and we want to show them Jesus and love them in a way that they've never been loved before because of their medical condition. And so he's really saying it's not so important about the medical attention. That is important, but what's important is the love that comes with it. And he's saying the way the ship is and the way we treat people is how we're going to change lives. You can fix someone's face, but if their soul is crushed, then there's no fix for that other than love. There is one lady in particular named Havana. She had lost all of her upper lip and all of her nose, and she came to Mercy Ships, and I'm going to read you a little thing she said after her face was reconstructed and she was about to be sent back home. This was in 2003, and she said, "I have never seen so much care and concern, and because of what I have seen and heard here, I know that God does love me. I never knew that before, and I never knew what it felt to belong. Now I do, and I want my story to be told so that other people can learn to be loved and accepted too." So, that's a little bit about Noma and love, and how important love is here. And when you hear about all these surgeries and learn about all these things, it really shows you how important that is, because people's souls are what's important here. We did come for surgeries, but also we came for people's souls, because if you're not loved, then you can't live properly, and we want to love people as much as we can. I'll have another story again next week, and if you have any questions, please post them below. I also am working on getting a ship tour for one of the videos. I just haven't worked out all the logistics yet, so please bear with me on that. Thank you so much for all your support and sending me here. I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.